Now you guys can hear me. All right, all right, all right. Let me make sure that's muted. Okay, sorry about that, guys. All right, probably gonna cut that intro part out. Has some sounds going on. Let's get started again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Heat Check Live Beat Review Show right here on YouTube. I am your host, Desmond A., and I'm here for a good time to help give you producers some feedback, some good game, and just networking. We're vibing with each other. You guys can reach out to each other, collaborate, have my Discord linked in the description so we can all build off of each other, feed off of each other as a community. Straight off the top, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for checking out the latest Made in the Studio podcast episode with multi-platinum producer AOB. Man, AOB has a lot of good game. He was gracious enough to share it with us, share all the information with us. You know, in this music industry, in this music game, there are those producers who are very skilled, very talented, who are kind of, I don't want to say locked away, but who just really are purist about music, and they want to be in the studio nonstop, but they never really get a chance to get out there and really express themselves, their thoughts around music, AI, artists, production, the music business. So, you know, it's definitely a privilege for me to be able to get in contact with these cats and get all that good information out there. So, man, very powerful episode. AOB said some things in the episode that actually stuck with me personally. And man, I've been on a tear just grinding, cooking up some new music because, man, he was speaking directly straight to me in that episode. So, guys, make sure you check out that episode with the AOB Made in the Studio podcast. You can find that right here on my YouTube channel. You can also find it anywhere podcasts are played. If you want the audio version, you can find it on Spotify. You can also find it on Apple Podcasts. Just type in Made in the Studio. It's going to say hosted by Desmond A., yours truly. And you can listen to that good information at the gym, at work, on the way to the studio, wherever you're at, you can get that good information. So shout out to AOB. And if you guys didn't check out the previous episode, the prior Thursday, that was with Daniel Cruz Hernandez, the attorney. He does a lot of work with producers, helping producers get their royalties, get their publishing, make sure, you know, if a loop gets played on something and, you know, he can find it, track it down, make sure everyone gets paid. So a lot of good game on the music business on that episode with Daniel Cruz Hernandez. So make sure you check out those past two Made in the Studio podcast episodes. And also, I want to say, of course, congratulations to Juke Wong. That's right, another Made in the Studio podcast guest. Congratulations to Juke Wong. He just was featured on the brand new Future album, The Real Me. I was listening to that album in the gym, man, turning it up crazy. So shout out to Juke Wong for giving us a lot of good game. And he's an active producer, you know, still gave his time on the new Future project. So you guys make sure you check that out as well. All right. So here at the Heat Check, this is the live beat review show. You might be wondering, who is this guy? He's just yapping away about his podcast and all this crap. What's going on? Well, my name is Desmond A. I'm a music producer. I've been making music for over 12 years now. Have music on different networks like E-Television, Discovery, Tubi, Sci-Fi Channel. Work with different popular recording artists. Different recording artists such as Blue Da Vinci, independent recording artists, independent recording artists, mixed, sold beats, plenty of beats, done a little bit of everything. So that's what's gonna give you guys the value of all my perspective, all the different angles of the music game that I've been in. So that's who I am. That's what qualifies me to give you this feedback. So thank you so much for checking out this stream. Now, just to let you know how it works here at the Heat Check Live Beat Review Show, what happens is the form to submit free submissions actually opens up at the end of the stream. So you can go ahead and submit then, and then the free submission form closes at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday. So you have that window there to go ahead and submit your beats for the for the free submissions. You can find that pinned in the chat. If you're on YouTube, you can find that at DesmondASounds.com. If you're on another platform checking out this stream, that's where you can go ahead and submit your free submissions. And then if you want to submit during the show, you of course have the VIP skip the line. So you can click on that, VIP skip the line, it's pinned in the chat as well. Go ahead and submit and we'll get your beat played on this week's show. And then we'll also play the entire beat. So that's the added benefit of the VIP skip the line. We play your entire beat. Free submissions get about 1.5 minutes, and then we move on to the next beat from the next producer. Yes, so that's how we do it here. Also, another things, few ground rules here at the Heat Check. No snapping, no roasting. This is not a place for you to hee, kiki, ha ha, get your jokes off. No, this is essentially kind of like a dojo, kind of like a martial arts studio. You guys ever been to something like that? So what happens? Your sensei, your coach says, you know, that jab, that knee strike, that elbow strike, you know, you need to twist your hip a little bit more. They give you real actionable steps on how you can improve. They give it to you straight, like we're going to give it to you here at the Heat Check, but we give you real actionable steps on how you can improve. So if you rock with that, please continue to rock out with the Heat Check Live Beat Review Show. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and get to it. Also, I was recently at Stankonia Studios out here in Atlanta. Nice studio. Got to chop it up with some of the engineers there. So if any of you guys are watching the playback, shout out to you. I had a great time at Stankonia Studios. So yeah, got some new stuff coming up for you guys. I'm gonna do updates and stuff, just always thinking about creative ways to give you guys value. So that's what I was doing there, giving value back to you guys and the music game in general. So let's go ahead and get started here. All right, here we go. Make sure we have everything set up on the audio. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and get started from the tippy top. We have our first producer here in the building. We have Voteezy. Shout out to you, Voteezy, with Popeyes. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was excuse me, that was Voteezy with Popeyes. Shout out to you, Voteezy. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Voteezy, man, one thing about your beats, for sure, I know I'm gonna get Every week is, man, definitely those hard, clean, strong, snappy drums, man. You know how to push those drums up, make them hit hard, make them snap, and you have a nice way of creating contrast with your sounds and the presence of your drums. So whatever you're doing there, definitely please continue to keep it up, because it's something that stands out about your production, and is going to help catch people's ears. This is basically what I'm trying to say. So Voteezy, with that particular beat, it's like something was going on with the keys, like the main dun dun dun. That key, the patch that you were using, it, to me, it felt like almost like I wanted to go into whatever VST you pull that up in and just kind of sort through different patches. As it almost at certain parts, it sounded like the MIDI might have been like overlapping on each other. So kind of watch the release on those main keys that you have. It sounded like it might have been overlapping on each other just a little bit, like the end notes. So watch that, like kind of like mute everything else and then listen and then see if everything still sounds musical. You might have to work the release or something like that with the sound. And also, even with that main sound that you use, like I want you to try, let's see if we have a different, I want you to try a different patch keyboards. So I don't know if you have this Voteezy SRX, the SRX bundle by Roland Cloud. So if you don't have this is a very good VST to get. Lots of sounds in it. Let me see if my keyboard is plugged in. Oh, it would help if I turn on the volume. So SRX keyboards, as you can see here, it's a very good VST. So you can have your electric keyboards, your electric, so you can. All right, then we have other sounds. And especially for you, Voteezy, with your sound and your style, I don't know if you have this, but I think you'll definitely rock out with the SRX keyboard collection. It has the organs and everything, so you can go crazy on it. Yeah, I can't really see. So yeah, you can get your Zaytoven on with the SRX keyboards. So yeah, definitely check that out, Voteezy. I think it'd be like a great way for you to like swap through different patches. So yeah, other than that, Voteezy. Also, I like the bass programming that you had on there. I like the bass programming. Even that, if I can get for you to just experiment with different patches, that was a nice clean sub bass that you had going on. Just experiment with other patches on that too. So, definitely keep the beat. I just want to have you experiment with the main keys and then also that main bass sound that you have. That just flip through a couple different ones and see which one strikes you in the heart. Like, ooh, this one is better. And then you can see like the vibe and everything feels better than what's originally there. But good beat. Let's just try a couple different things there and see what kind of vibe and feeling you're able to get out of it. But shout out to you, Voteezy. Always welcomed here at the Heat Check. All right. Moving forward, we have our second submission of the night from Voteezy. Looks like Voteezy and AARJ. This one is called Street Confessions. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, then give my feedback. So let's take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Voteezy with Street Confessions. I had to hit Voteezy with the because that was a fire beat, man. Shout out to you, Voteezy. Thank you so much for your submission this week. Now, Voteezy, good beat, man. You know who I was thinking about on that beat? I was thinking about YTB Fat. I think YTB Fat could get on that. I think Lil Durk can get on that. With YTB Fat, who else could I hear on that? I could hear Big Walk Dog on that. Who else could I hear on that beat? Yeah, I'm leaning in that kind of leaning in the Durk direction a little bit more. So we'll see what happens with Durk and and whatnot. So yeah, good beat. As far as that beat, the beat was busy. Like it had a lot going on, or a decent amount going on, but it was musical and spaced out enough that I felt like my vocal could just still land on it smoothly. That's why I was freestyling with my mic muted. You guys don't want to hear me rap, but yeah, I had plenty of space on it. Had a lot going on, or a good amount of music going on, but it still had enough room for the lead vocal to sit right in there like butter. So shout out to you, Voteezy. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right, and it looks like we have Ginger Cade. What's going on? What's going on? It looks like we have Ginger Cade just stepped in the building, wanted to come through and hit us with a
new VIP.
New VIP, skip the line. So let me go ahead and get that pulled up. All right. So as I get that pulled up, ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to go to DesmondASounds.com to get your free loops, free guides. I have a guide that just came out on selling beats on Instagram. So some of my strategies, you guys can check that out. You can also find that in the description. So make sure you check out that Instagram guide. I also have a guide on Pro Tools. I was recently, like I said a moment ago, at Stankonia Studios. I saw the engineer working Pro Tools, and saw some of the shortcuts that I used to use back in the day in Pro Tools. So you guys do not want to miss out on that. All right, let me go ahead and get this VIP pulled up here. Go ahead and make some space. Also, once again, if you guys did not check out the most recent Made in the Studio podcast episode, had with multi-platinum producer AOB, produced a lot of stuff with Kodak Black, and he has some new stuff coming up on the new Rick Ross project. So you can get a lot of good game from that episode as well. You can find that right here on my YouTube channel. You just click on the podcast tab. You'll find that. And also you can find it on Spotify if you just want the audio version. Also, you can find it on Apple Podcasts if you just want the audio version as well. So got a couple of different options for you guys out there. All right. So without further ado, we have our VIP skip the line with, was it Gengercade? Gengercade? I hope I'm saying it right, man. I don't want to butcher your name. That's disrespectful. Okay. First one is a beat I made. Second one is a full song and made the beat. All right. So we got a nice little variety here. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for, Gengercade. All right. VIP skip the line. I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then give my feedback. We're going to play the whole thing. So let's take a listen.
Big rocks on me, big rock starship, troop got starships, might just Mars, hit my garments, look like Martians, girl got aura, hey, Oliver drip imported, that's important, hey, we ain't about to pop out, but just know she gorgeous, whoa. Smoking marijuana, play some music while you text like phrase. I had it early, but I got you when I see you again. Tick, tick, boom. Yeah. Call me Basement Roger. Click, 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 boom. Yeah. Call me Basement Roger. Yeah, yeah. Tick, tick, boom. Can't rock Gucci shades, don't do designer. No, hey, yeah. Most think that you're sellers. Y'all the product. Most of y'all stay posted like statuses. Just stand in the back like ad-libs is. New crib looking more like palaces. 10 toes don't trip like Alice's. Yeah, yeah. My ex said there's no one like her. Cool. My next one is even better. Bomb. Tick, tick, boom. Yeah. Call me Basement Roger. Click, 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 boom. Yeah. Call me Basement Roger. Yeah, yeah. Tick, tick, boom. Call me Basement Roger.
Hey, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was, let me make sure I get his name again. Okay. Gang Arcade. Okay. Gang Arcade. Okay. Shout out to you, Gang Arcade. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see Gang Arcade there. You know, Gang Arcade, do you have like a website or Instagram you want to plug and, you know, shout yourself out? Because, you know, this is, you know, mainly a broadcast for producers. So, you know, you produce your own stuff, but hey, you know, we all work together and whatnot. And hey, people just might want to check out your stuff. So if you can shout out your website and or your Instagram in the chat, definitely will appreciate that. And of course, everyone watching the playback or the live stream show can find him on the different platforms to support his music. So Gang Arcade, man, that's a good song. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you can find him on Instagram, Gang Arcade, the way that it's spelled right here on the screen. You can see his name in the chat, and then also I have his name right here on the file. So if you guys are just on mobile, moving around, grooving around, you can see his name right there. All right. So yeah, Gang Arcade, man, good song. The first thing I thought about with this type of music is I thought about like sync. I thought about like a nightclub scene or something like that where people are moving around, doing their thing, and this song playing in the background, like setting the scene, getting the energy going. And you did the beat too, man. That's definitely a lot of talent to do all of that. Now let me ask you, this Gang Arcade, did you mix this yourself? Did you go to a studio? Did you have a friend mix this? How exactly did you mix like the vocals particularly on this one? I'm interested in knowing that. So please let us know, Gang Arcade. And for any other producer, rappers, I know a lot of you guys produce and rap at the same time. Once again, if you do that, just do the VIP skip the line pass. We can get some artists going. So hit that VIP skip the line, and then we can have your music played here as well, man. I've been impressed by, man, the artist submissions that we've done. Like it's been consistent. When artists come to this stream, they do that skip the line and I hit play, I've never been disappointed. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to all the artists out there. Okay, so Gang Arcade, you wrote it, produced it, performed. Okay, so you did everything. Okay, so as far as the feedback go, any type of constructive feedback on this one, Gang Arcade, I like the beat. I like the way the beat felt. I like the tone of the vocals. Everything was good. But there was like certain parts where I just want the vocals to be like blended a bit better. I wanted it just to be a bit like silkier, just a bit blended. Like sometimes it kind of felt like the music in the beat and the vocals were a little bit separate from each other. I just want it to be fused together in a more silky, more cohesive kind of way. So if you're interested, One of my previous Made in the Studio podcast guests name is Mixed by L. You might see him on social media a lot. So if that's one of the songs you want to start pushing and promoting or whatnot, don't be afraid to reach out to Mixed by L. Try him out, one of his services, and just have his version, have your version, and then you never know, just see which one you like the best. So, I would definitely do that. Just give it a try, especially since you're an everyman type of person. You do so much, with us creatives, man. A lot of times we do so much. We we do music, we do the marketing, we do the performance, we do the networking, we do everything. But sometimes it's okay to just delegate one thing to somebody else, and it like offloads things. So just don't be afraid to give it a try if you're open to it. So out of all the things, making music mixing is definitely one of my weakest, but okay. So yeah, so I would definitely give that a try, especially if this is a song that you want to work. And then of course, look out for like different sync opportunities and things like that out there, because I like that. People like that type of music that makes you want to get up and dance. So shout out to you. Let me go ahead and clap it up. All right. Now, moving forward, we have our second submission of the night from Gang Arcade. This one is an instrumental. This one is called Don't Remember the Party. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then give my feedback. So let's take a listen. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Gang Arcade with a... Let me find it.
New VIP.
New VIP. Skip the line. So shout out to you, Gang Arcade. Thank you so much for sharing the beat and the song with us today on the Heat Check. Now, Gang Arcade, the first thing is with that beat is you have a refreshing sound. So when I hear it, like it feels new. I like the percussive rhythms, and just what I feel when I hear your music is refreshment, or something that's refreshing. So shout out to you for doing that. It just didn't sound like any and everything I could just hear out there just randomly. You're pushing the boundary. So I definitely appreciate you for doing that. With the beat, it almost felt like you made this beat for you, and you might have taken off your own vocals just based on how it was structured. Because to me, what I'm getting from this beat is like, this isn't like a beat you could just email to an artist. To me, this feels like a beat that you're in the studio with the artist and you're coaching them through things. So you're like, okay, and this is the part where we, have other people come in the studio, then we're going to do a little bridge, and, this is the part where we're going to, do this, and then you're going to do this talking part. So this doesn't really sound like a beat that's just made to email to different artists. This feels like custom studio work that's tailor-made for a particular type of song. Or particular type of artist. So I don't think you could just email this beat out. So you would need to be at least around, even if it's in the car with an artist. Like, yeah, I want you to do it like this. So I say that to say, this feels like something you would need to coach an artist through, so they don't really get lost. I just can't imagine myself singing. I just imagine myself singing I Can't Turn It Off, Sally. Okay. Shout out to you. So yeah, so like there was one part around the 49-second part mark. It just felt like this guitar part was a little busy. Like that part right there with that guitar that you added, it just feels like it'll be a bit challenging for a different artist to kind of figure out how to put their vocals on it. Good note though, if I send out packs. Yeah, it just, the thing is things need to be almost like, so unless you want to put like some type of notes, like whenever you send out beat packs, like from this point to this point is the intro, from this point to this point is the hook. But then again, are artists going to actually read that, or are they just going to download it and play the beat in their AirPods? So that may not be the best advice. Yeah, we would need to have like more obvious sections, more obvious parts. This is the hook. Because to me, I kind of felt like free flowing through the whole beat, like freestyling through the whole beat. So, try to, like you said, dumb it down so it's like painfully obvious. This goes here, this goes here, this goes here. Then maybe after the artist is done, then you can go back and add things like your guitar and other elements. So that way you're like supporting their vocal, as opposed to them possibly trying to figure out where the hook is, the verse, where should I stop here? We need to make that like painfully clear. So yeah, shout out to you, Gang Arcade. Shout out to you, man. Definitely talented. Got a bright future, man, especially with that upbeat sound that kind of have pop sensibilities and has the ethnic bounce to it. So yeah, man, you got a bright future ahead of you. Just keep grinding, keep getting yourself out there, keep networking. That's one of the main things, man, is that business side. Once you get the music side down, it's that business side and promotion side. So definitely, please keep that up. Keep grinding. You are definitely welcome here at the Heat Check. You're welcome, Gang Arcade. You're welcome. Thank you for sharing your music today. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want to do a VIP Skip the Line yourself, you can always go to DesmondASounds.com/VIP, or you can click on the VIP Skip the Line link in the live chat or in the description. Go there, skip the line. We'll get straight to your music. And if you're an artist, you can get your music played with the Skip the Line. All right. Moving forward, we have AR Knight with Big Show. Shout out to you, AR Knight. Shout out to you, man. Always see you engaging in my content and things like that. So let's go ahead and take a listen to AR Knight with Big Show. I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was AR Knight with Big Show. Shout out to you, AR Knight. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, AR Knight, I don't know what's going on, but these past couple, the past couple tracks that I've been listening to have been giving me sync vibes. This sounds like, once again, a type of instrumental that would be in the background of some type of TV show or a reality show, TV show, just kind of setting the mood. Maybe even like, Power, those type of power shows, an East Coast type of show. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting from this beat, especially with how it grows and the sounds keep coming. Then you have a lot of those exciting snare rolls going on. As far as this being for a recording artist, it's I'm not quite sure if it's really structured for that. It almost feels like maybe an artist would even, like, once again, freestyle straight through this. Let me take a listen a little bit. Always ready. Yeah, I'm getting more like freestyle vibes from this than an actual song. So, AR Knight, I would just say, the ball's in your court. Like, do you want this beat to be more so a freestyle song for someone to just freestyle, get their bars off straight through, and just, have the listener sit there and, bob and listen to the lyrics? Or do you want it to be an actual song? And if you want it to be an actual song, I would say try to remember that less is more. Muting sounds out can create a type of tension that's going to draw the listener in, whether it's just straight up muting sounds, whether that's putting a low pass filter on it, whether that's putting a low pass filter on certain sounds and letting certain other sounds still play unfiltered. Just less is more. So don't be afraid to mute certain things to bring excitement. You can take things out musically to bring the listener in. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that made sense. Shout out to you, AR Knight. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. And I don't know if that's... I want to hear something else here on this beat. kind of watch the high end of some of that din 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 din. The high end feels a little bit kind of brittle to me. I'm not quite sure why that is. Like dan dan dan. I'm not sure if you put something on the master, or you put something on that horn synth section there, but something about it is feeling a little bit like, I don't want to say distorted, but it just sounds like loud. I don't quite know what's loud. Something about it is just, the top end is feeling a little strange to me. So kind of watch that on that as well. All right. Moving forward, we have our second submission of the night from AR Knight with Mason BIXXY. All right, I'm about to play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen.
When you're close or when you're weak, when I found your life began, you're my sun and I'm your fan. Love like ours, so true. When I found you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was AR Knight with Mason BIXXY. Shout out to you, AR Knight, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, AR Knight, you know, the beat definitely came in strong. Had a nice bouncy sound, plenty of space for the recording artists to do their thing, wide open lane for them to write a song, get their vocals on there and snap. But then you added the vocal sample. I don't know if that's like some type of splice vocal sample that you added in there to, I don't know if that's for like demoing purposes or you want that to actually be in the final beat for the recording artist. But I would definitely mute that vocal sample and just really just, if this is for a recording artist, then just work off of what we have here, this part. See that's perfect, man. You play this in the studio. You see what I'm saying? Like that's wide open. You could just take that part, really loop it for the most part, just keep it going, and then just create a section that's gonna separate the verse, well, the intro to the hook, to the verse, to the hook, like that's going to have that separation so the listener can tell the difference between the two. But this right here, people are going to snap on that, man. Like that vocal sample and all the extra stuff that was added, it really took away from it, man. That like, let's keep let's just keep it simple. You got it. Let's just keep it simple so an artist can get on there, write a song to it, and, you know, take it out of here. The vocal sample definitely was not needed. Just work off of that main part, man. You got it with that main part. Just keep that main part and make an entire beat structured and arranged around that main part, because That should not be difficult to sell. So shout out to you, AR Knight. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. And that's the thing, guys. That's the thing about beats, man. And that's one of the biggest lessons that I learned about production. Oh, can you guys hear me? Okay, there we go. That's one of the biggest lessons that I learned about production is that less is more, man. I had to learn when I first moved to ATL, working with recording artists, sitting right next to me. I would make the beat, and then he'd be like, all right, let me go record. And I'm like, bro, I'm barely getting the idea out. Like, he was like, bro, just structure it real quick, drop it into the program, drop it in the Pro Tools, and let me record to it. And that's when I learned the lesson of less being more. And then in my most recent Made in the Studio podcast episode with multi-platinum producer AOB, he co-signed, he repeated the same thing as far as things being too busy. And that's the thing that happens to us as producers. We have so many sounds. You guys just saw me open up that Roland SRX keyboards. That has Roland SRX keyboards, Roland strings, Roland orchestra, Roland studio, the JV 1080. Like, it gives me all these different sounds through the Roland Cloud subscription. And then how are we as producers not gonna overdo it? You know what I mean? And the way that we stay level set and grounded is one of my biggest suggestions to a lot of you guys on this on the show, is to rap out loud, sing out loud, so you don't get in your own way. You don't do too much. You don't crowd things, so that way you have enough space for the artist. So who knows how many opportunities I blew with other artists due to the fact that I just crowded my beats, man. And when I think about especially one R&B artist in particular, I should hit her up. One R&B artist in particular that I used to work with relatively frequently, that's one of her things she would say to me is like, thank you so much for making your beats easy to write to. And that's because I learned that lesson of, oh, I want to add this sound. Oh, I want to add that sound. Oh, I want to add that sound. I'm like, wait, let me sing to it. Na, 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 na. Oh, mute. Na, 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 ding, ding, ding. Nope, mute. Na, 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 na. Oh, perfect. Got wide open space. If I need to add anything, we'll do it later. Has enough contrast. Things coming in the beat, out the beat, so we can feel like there's tension moving, but it's not crowded. And that's one of my secrets, or not one of my secrets, since my last podcast guest co-signed it. But guys, please, less is more. It's hard to do with all the access that we have, I know, but something that we can work on, and it definitely leads to a lot of opportunity. All right, so moving forward, we have a Heat Check regular. We have Trap World with Drowny. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen.
Trap World.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Trap World with Drowny. Shout out to you, Trap World. Thank you so much for your submission on this week's show. Now, Trap World. One thing, a couple of things that I'm hearing. First of all, I like the energy of the drums that you added. I like the overall attitude of the beat. That being said, I believe this is some of the feedback that I've given on previous shows is the melodic elements really making sense. You know, I felt like it's just things weren't musically making sense. Like, how is a rapper supposed to get on this beat? Let me play it back. Let's listen.
Trap World.
So I was able to catch a little flow, a little pocket due to the bounce of the drums, which I mentioned just a second ago. But melodically, it's just hammering away at my ability to really do anything creatively, and that's due to the fact that we're running into like musical dissonance. So meaning that the musical elements are kind of not really making sense. They're kind of clashing with each other in more simple terms. So one thing I mentioned on a lot of different shows is to listen to your favorite producer. I can tell that you're still working on the beat making process. How do beats come together? There's a famous songwriter who does a lot of stuff for like Miss Lotto, and a lot of people like that. It's a songwriter. He works with who are those producers? I believe it's called the Winner's Circle. That songwriter, he had a producer grind episode back in the day. He mentioned how it took him a while to even figure out how to pick a good snare. And he started out as a rapper. You know what I mean? He's listening to beats his whole life. He struggled to pick a good kick and a good snare. Like, he didn't know the process of doing that, and people would make fun of him. And of course, after they was done making fun of him, they kind of helped him learn the process of sound selection. So right now I'm kind of feeling that same thing in the melodic elements for you, Trap World, which we need to get the melodic elements making sense. So one thing I recommend, listening critically, just listening as a student to some of your favorite producers, or even the producers that you're kind of aiming to sound like right now. And just if you're in your car, you're driving around, you're going on a walk, at the gym, wherever you'd like to do, like really, 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 really listen to like how that producer's putting the melody together. Don't just listen as a fan, listen as a student. Like, man, how are they putting that together? Oh, dun, 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 dun. Oh, then the chord changes. I still do that to this day when I just listen to that new Future album, the Real Me. I was just listening to how, Weezy was putting certain things together, or Smat Certified was doing certain things with his drums, or ATL Jacob. I'm like, okay, what are they doing? Oh, I could hear that with the hi-hat. Oh, and then they're putting some type of filter right there. So I still listen to music as a student, no matter what. I'm always a student of the game. So we're never too good for that, even if our styles differ. One more thing that you can also do, Trap World, is if you have a keyboard, just learning basic music theory. C major, then I know those type of exercises might seem boring, and it might seem like, oh my gosh, I'm not, I'm not in school anymore, or I'm not in elementary anymore. Or maybe you found certain things like that really boring if you were introduced to the keyboard or music at any point. But these things really help to train your ear. Just knowing the C major, D major, C major, D major, then getting into the minors. learning your minor chords, these different things, at least for me, and my Made in the Studio podcast guest kind of co-signed that, AOB, is it gives you more tools, it gives you more options musically. So I know it's not the funnest thing in the world, it's not the most exciting things in the world to just get on the keyboard and learn. Just, you don't have to go crazy. Just learn your major, your minor keys, and learn some popular songs, and you'll be shocked at how developed your ear gets. So, take some time to do that. It's not going to be a walk in the park. One thing I used to do when it comes to the keyboard is I used to use a timer, something called online-stopwatch.com. So I would just get on my keyboard no matter what for like 15 minutes a day minimum, or 20 minutes a day minimum, which I need to start doing again because I'm rusty. And just 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, consistently expanded over time is quite a bit of time. So it could seem like it's going to take forever, but like they say, what's the best way to eat an elephant? And that's one bite at a time. So, chip away, get to it. You'll be surprised at how developed your ear gets just with the most basic music theory, man. So shout out to you, Trap World. Please continue to submit right here on the Heat Check. All right, let's take a look at the chat here. All right, still good to go. All right, moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, we have a Heat Check regular, Millie Beats. Shout out to you, Millie Beats. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I get to this beat by Millie Beats, make sure you go to DesmondASounds.com to get yourself some free loops. I got some Afrobeat loops that are crazy. Got some Spanish loops that go crazy, man. You gotta use them. Got an FL Studio patcher plugin for free called Super Clipper that is smashing the soft clipper given by ImageLine FL Studio to smithereens. If ImageLine was right here in my face and they was like, Desmond, we'll give you $1 million if you can prove that your super clipper is better than our soft clipper, I'll be like, here's my routing number because you're about to get a brother paid. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to me. So just make sure you get the FL Studio Super Clipper, which is free at DesmondASounds.com. Go ahead and crank out some beats. Then use the Super Clipper to add yourself some clipping to it. Bam. Look at that. And I got the tone knob. You can A and B it. Go from hard clipping to soft clipping. Man, what? And it's free. Man. Gift that keeps on giving. Well, moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, we got Millie Beats with Dead Homies. I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen.
God damn, Millie, you're bad.
right, all right, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Millie Beats with Dead Homies. Shout out to you, Millie Beats, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Millie Beats, man, that was a good beat, man. Good, clean. I like the way you switched from the Moog bass to the 808 bass. The 808 bass is nice and subby, man. You got nice subby 808 bass. Nice contrast. Play with the low end, play with the ear. It was a pleasant surprise when you went from the Moog to the 808. It instantly pulled me in, gave me a little bit of that stank face for a second. So yeah, Millie Beats, definitely work this beat. You know, whatever artist that you're out there in communication with, please send this beat to them. And yeah, this should be an easy sell, Millie. I know you're out there grinding, meeting different artists on things like TikTok and whatnot. So, you know, one thing I've seen from a loop maker who likes to send me some stuff is he'll, even to this day, he'll do a little screen recording. Now, Millie, I know you're using FL Studio Mobile, so I'm not sure how that would work, but he'll do a little screen recording of, you know, like what we're seeing right here on the screen in FL Studio. You know, but he'll put like a filter on it, so it kind of has like his own unique branding. So it'll have like all his sounds, guitar, you know, strings, everything like that. But he puts a filter on it. So Millie, I don't know if you're possibly able to do something like that in FL Studio Mobile, just to like, you know, post your stuff, post your beats, and then, you know, network with people on TikTok. And then as you network with them, they're gonna, of course, listen to your stuff. And then that could be another avenue for you to get in connection with them. So just throwing out some ideas, but shout out to you, Millie Beats. And thank you for your submission. All right. Moving forward, we have another submission from Millie Beats. This one is called Broken. All right. I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen.
God damn, Millie, you bad. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Millie Beats with Broken. Shout out to you, Millie Beats, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, Millie Beats, another great beat, man. That beat, that was a good beat. I'm really enjoying your sub bass, your 808s. They're coming in real clean, real present. They work with the kick, and at the same time, they're not overbearing, which is a good balance to have. One thing is, and I mentioned this before, it's like your hook to verse is a little bit, we can experiment, because I noticed we do the breakdown like this, like So instead of making things break down on the hook, you can experiment with things kind of being elevated on the hook, as far as like more hi-hats, a couple more sounds, and then maybe the first part of the second verse can be more stripped down, and then we can get into more sounds, and then we kind of grow into the hook again, and then we drop back down for the third verse, or however we want to do it. It's just that sometimes I feel like we're doing a lot of breakdowns in your stuff as far as stripping stuff out. So just experiment with that. Once again, mumble, rap to yourself out loud, and get a feel for, you know, how the artist can attack the beat. But shout out to you, Millie Beast. Okay. Millie Beast, we got Millie Beast in the building. Shout out to you. Thanks, man. I've been spending a lot of time on Beat Block lately. What tips do you have on getting out of Beat Block? Ooh, Beat Block. So that's a question, man. So I'll answer the question two ways. One, I'm going to give my perspective, and then the other way I'll answer it is by giving some of the tips that I ask a lot of my podcast guests that question, how they get out of Beat Block. For me, I get out of Beat Block by, one, challenging myself. A lot of times I get a little too comfortable with my production style. I kind of know what hi-hat I'm going to pick, what snare I'm going to pick, what rim shot I'm going to pick, what patch I'm going to pick in one of my favorite VSTs. So I need to push myself out my comfort zone and just challenge myself. I need to do something that's making me work a little bit harder. I'm just too comfortable, and I have to push myself out that comfort zone. So one is by experimenting on slightly different genres. Maybe instead of doing an R&B beat, I'm gonna do an Afro beat. Maybe instead of doing my typical hip hop soul J. Cole style of beats, I'm gonna do things with a little more trap into it. Or maybe I want to do a little more of an orchestral sound instead of even going to the drums or things that I'll typically reach for. I'll just sit down at the keyboard and just try different things, try different chords. I'll even try to like sample from my own brain. Like maybe I'm like, okay, I heard the, let's just say a good reference, the New Future album, right? I heard the New Future album. What would I do if someone called me and said, I need a beat for Future? Okay, let me go through some sounds, and I'll just focus. What would I do? Pick this sound, pick that sound, and start mumbling like Future. So just finding different ways to challenge myself is the way that I get out of Beat Block. So that's my answer, is finding a new challenge. Now, some of my previous Made in the Studio podcast guests, like one of my first guests, his name is David S. He produced for Lil Wayne, Rich the Kid, different people like that. He mentioned one of the ways that he gets out of Beat Block is by watching different YouTube videos of producers, you know, bigger producers cooking up, you know, finding those different YouTube channels of the big producers breaking down how they made some of the hits for the larger recording artists. And he stated that once he watches that, you know, that's a way that excites him, and it makes him like, oh, I gotta cook up. Okay, I saw the way they put it together, that hit. I saw the way they put together that hit. I gotta go ahead and cook up. Another guest, Ben Mari, he produced for Moneybagg Yo, Big X The Plug, Finesse 2 Times, a lot of people like that. He mentioned in my podcast that he'll even try to remake a beat that's out there. So he'll just sit down and try to remake a beat that's already, you know, circulating out there, see if he can nail it, see how close he can get to remaking a beat. And that's a challenge for him, and that's another way that he pushes himself, you know, to try to, you know, be like the people out there. Of course, he's not going to put the beat out, but just, it's like a type of exercise. It's kind of like how rappers will freestyle and, you know, battle and things like that to keep your sword sharpened, you know, to make sure that you still got it. And that's one thing that he does, Ben Mari. So make sure you check out Ben Mari's Made in the Studio podcast episode, David S.'s episode, all those different guys. They definitely have some good game. So yeah, right off the top of my head. Also, my man, I can see his face. OG the Three. He's a musician and producer. He produced for John Legend, Yo Gotti, singer Vito, I believe Eric Bellinger as well. In our episode for Beat Block, I believe he mentioned he likes to become a student again whenever he runs into Beat Block. So he'll go and like listen to Stevie Wonder, listen to Isaac Hayes, and just really immerse himself in their sound. And just, you know, you're listening to the greats and you're absorbing their energy. And then from there, then he'll go in the process of making music. So I gave you a couple different answers there, Millie. Yeah, so I understand sometimes I make beats outside of the West Coast. That helps me a lot. So yeah, there you go. So you got a couple different answers there. You got my perspective and got perspectives from other people in the game. So shout out to you, Millie Beats. Thank you so much for submitting right here on The Heat Check. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have another producer here in the show. Excuse me. This is John with A Sunken Verse. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and give my feedback. So let's take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was John with A Sunken Verse. I said a sunken place. A sunken verse. John, I got to go ahead and hit you with the... Damn! So, John, that was definitely different, man. That's why I had to hit that sound effect. Make sure you guys can hear me. So, yeah, John, man, that beat, definitely, I don't even have to say the artist. Guys, say it out loud with me. 1, 2, 3. That's right. I was hearing some Kanye on it, man. Definitely could hear Kanye West on a beat like this. Right up his lane. Also, I could hear Kendrick Lamar on a beat like this as well. So, man, John, man, I hope you have a BeatStars. I hope you have a YouTube. And maybe you have a BeatStars with that YouTube. Because if you put Kanye, you know, what era would this be? Kanye, I guess you could say Donda, maybe a Kanye, Playboy Cardi, Kendrick type beat. You never know who's searching for music. I know a lot of these guys in the industry makes it seem like they're all the way up here. They're somewhere in France. You know, they're in the studio with Metro all day. They're not listening. No, these major artists and even artists on the major artist roster, they're out there. They use YouTube, they use Instagram just like anybody else. So John, I definitely hope that you're posting beats, especially beats like this, and labeling them certain type beats so you can get that traffic and the artists themselves can find it. Indie artists who kind of like that sound can find it. And of course, if you use Instagram, I have a free guide that I put together. You can find in the description. It's my personal strategy on how I've sold quite a bit in beats on Instagram. Quiet as it's kept, you know, I don't really want people knowing my methods, but, you know, Unk got to give the game out. Am I Unk yet? I don't know. But yeah, I had to give the game out. So definitely check out that Instagram guide. Definitely continue to cook up some beats. You are welcome, Millie Beats. You are welcome. Definitely check out the podcast. So yeah, back to you, John. Yeah, please. This type of sound just has to get out there. It just has to get in the right hands. You got it, man. You got it. Just needs the right hand. So continue to promote yourself, grind, check out my free guide, and yes, you'll be perfectly fine, man. You just this beat just needs a home for the right artist. So shout out to you, John. And thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up tonight's show. Guys, please do not forget to check out the Made in the Studio podcast. I put a lot of time into this podcast. It takes a lot of work to book guests, record things, edit things, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, the work is definitely rewarding. It's definitely a grind. So I hope you guys check out the podcast. And hello, good evening. We have someone in the chat named Doreen. Who could that be? But good evening to you as well. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out the Made in the Studio podcast. Definitely takes a lot of work to put that all together. So, you know, I definitely appreciate the love. We're getting a lot of comments. You guys really like the Juke Wong episode. I'm getting some love from the AOB episode that just dropped this Thursday. So make sure you guys check out that AOB episode. AOB used to be a science teacher. So you gotta listen closely. You gotta get into the episode, you know, as he starts to get into it, as he starts to drop, you know, the knowledge, you're going to get pulled in, you know, he's a science teacher. So he's going to really pull you into the information. So definitely, I appreciate AOB, multi-platinum producer AOB, just produced for Kodak. He got the new Rick Ross dropping pretty soon. So we're definitely going to support him as well. Also, guys, make sure you go to DesmondASounds.com, get all your free guides, loops. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Got some more tutorial videos, more free game videos coming next week. Definitely going to be grinding those out. And of course, next Friday, we have another episode. I got a lot of stuff going on. Next Friday is another Heat Check live beat review show. So I want to see you guys next Friday. You guys be safe. Check out the podcast in the meantime. Check out the tutorials in the meantime. This has been a great show. Thank you so much to my man, the recording artist, Gang Arcade, for the VIP Skip the Line. Today's show, he showed love with his song. So you guys make sure you check out Gang Arcade's song. Check out his music on Instagram. His name is spelled GENGARCADE. So we want to show him love for showing love to the Heat Check live beat review show. He did a VIP Skip the Line. So, and shout out to you, Max Doreen. Who could these people be? Hey, man, we just get new people in the stream all the time. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. Kwame, if you're watching, shout out to you. Everybody out there, shout out to y'all. So yes, guys, another great show. I will see you guys next Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be doing the post, letting you guys know that the free submissions for next Friday's show is open. So be on the lookout for my YouTube community posts. We're going to be doing it again, doing it big next Friday. My name is Desmond A, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.